Hey everybody, happy Monday. I hope you're doing well. My name is Minda Harts. This is Secure the Seat Live. How are you? Put it in the chat. I know that you're watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Happy that you're here. How was your weekend? I had a really great weekend. I was speaking at Black Women in STEM. They had a conference in Seattle, Washington, and I got the opportunity to talk to an amazing group of women and allies about Right Within. So it was a really great time. And I also got a chance to go to this amazing Black owned gallery called the Wow Gallery. So if you get a chance to check them out, definitely do that. But one of the things that I purchased from the Wow Gallery was this t shirt in honor of the young girls who lost their lives due to systemic racism, right, in the church in Birmingham. So we just want to hold space for all of those who have experienced trauma, right? Because it's so important that we find our healing. But I'm so happy that you're here because you could be um, anywhere on the internet or outside your house right now, and you're here with us. Today's episode, it's gonna be short and sweet today. But I wanted to share a couple of things with you about Right Within. So number one, next month, and I'm saying next month, but that's like next week, right? Next month is November, and we're having an official book club for Right Within. I am partnering with the official book club with Dr. Nika White, her consulting company, and we're going to host two sessions where we're talking about Right Within and community because there's a lot to unpack in this book. And so I hope that you'll join us. We're going to drop the link inside of the chat so that you can join us next month. The only book club that I'm going to be doing that I'm going to be a part of, like in it and speaking about it and connecting with you is next month. So I hope that you will be there. There's also an opportunity if you want to get an autographed copy of Right Within. So if you join the book club, you'll also have access to that. So I hope that you will join us. We're having one session where it's about just women of color, Black and brown women. Then we have one for managers and leaders, but you might fall into both categories. So we hope that you will join us. But again, we will drop that link in the chat because we want you to be there. Also, on later this week, I'm partnering with Salesforce, and we're having a conversation around Black wellness. So that's on the 28th. We're going to drop that in. That's going to be on Instagram Live. And you also get a complimentary book. So listen, if you didn't get a chance to purchase your book or go to the library and secure a copy, and a couple weeks ago I was giving away some books. If you have not been able to get your copy yet, we're going to help with that. Salesforce is going to provide a complimentary book for you. So we're going to drop that link in the chat. So you showed up today because we giving out gifts, right? I'm feeling real Oprah like. So if you click that link, you'll also get an opportunity for a complimentary book. So shout out to Salesforce. But I want to start with reading two things that I think are very important from Right Within. There are a couple of things, but this is, we're going into the rest of the week. And as we talk about healing, healing is not a one-time event, but a lifestyle. And if you haven't made your way through Right Within, there's a pledge in here. I have a manager's pledge and I have an individual pledge. And so I'm going to read the individual pledge because I feel like this is something that we should put in our spirit each and every day as we go out in our work days and out in the streets. And I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to chop this up a little bit so that you could also have it as an audio version so that you can listen to the healing pledge. But I want to read it to you because, again, I think this is a great affirmation. So I put this in the book, and it reads this way. You would insert your name, but in this case, I'll insert my own. I, Minda Harts, pledge that I will no longer be held captive to past or current racialized trauma in the workplace. I honor myself, and I will continue to create healthy boundaries that center my overall career health. I commit to packing lighter and experiencing career success on my own terms. I realize that any microaggressions, macroaggressions, biases, or prejudices that have tried to hold me back from being able to thrive in the workplace can no longer stunt my mental health and career. I will do my best to continue to allow myself to heal and use the various healing tools available to me because healing is not a one time event, but a lifestyle. I commit to practicing healing every day. My healing matters. I'm going to read it one more time because I just want you to really bask in this. I, Minda Harts, pledge that I will no longer be held captive to past or current racialized trauma in the workplace. I honor myself and I will continue to create healthy boundaries that center my overall career health. I commit to packing lighter and experiencing career success on my own terms. I realize any microaggressions, macroaggressions, biases, or prejudices that have tried to hold me back from being able to thrive in the workplace can no longer stunt my mental health and career. I will do my best to continue to allow myself to heal and use the various healing tools available to me because healing is not a one time event, but a lifestyle. I commit to practicing healing every day. My healing matters. Your healing matters. Can you guys just put that in the chat that your healing matters? It does. Okay? It does. And this also, you can change it. Somebody says, what about the classroom? This is everywhere you're doing work, right? Any place you're doing work, you can commit to yourself. You can commit to healthy boundaries. Nobody is going to create those boundaries for you, right? You have to do that. And I think we also have to normalize women of color using their voices, right? In the ways in which we are no longer concerned with how people see us when we use them, right? We no longer have to be held captive to any stereotypes when we use our voice. No, I'm not angry. No, I'm not docile. No, I'm not feisty. Okay? I am telling you what good looks like to me. And I believe that in a workplace that values dignity, respect, and humanity, we should all be able to use our voices when we're feeling threatened or harmed or not safe, right? And so, again, I just feel like it's so important. And sometimes we just need to remind ourselves because we're not always in spaces that will affirm us, right? But we get to affirm ourselves. You get to affirm yourself. You don't have to wait for anybody to tell you that, yeah, what Bob said was wrong. No, you know, right? We know when we've been harmed and we can affirm ourselves. We no longer have to wait for anybody to give us a green light to say that we've been harmed, right? So our healing matters, your healing matters. And I felt like that was really important to put in. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're having this a little light packing light session this morning. we're doing some affirmations because our healing matters, because that's how we thrive in life and in our careers. The other thing I want to read to you, because in order to make sure that our healing is continual, that is maintained, we also need managers who are also putting their best foot forward to make sure that we have safe spaces that we can heal in and we can work in. And so the next thing I want to read to you is another pledge that I included in this book. And this is a great way to provide this book to your managers, to your leaders. It's very important that they also have the tools that they need. So here's the manager's pledge. Curious what you all think about this. And I ask every manager to consider taking this. I will acknowledge that I have biases that I need to understand and reconcile. I will commit to engaging in courageous conversations. They might sometimes be difficult, but I know they are necessary to create an inclusive workplace. I will challenge myself to hold other colleagues accountable when I have heard or observed racialized tones, behaviors, and actions. I will learn to humanize the experiences of all my colleagues and seek to understand and listen to their perspectives and lived experiences, particularly when they differ from my own. I will share my experiences and educational journey to help other managers create restorative justice practices. Even if I make a mistake, I commit to the daily practice of being a better manager who is committed to equity for all. That's my favorite point on this one. Even if I make a mistake, I commit to the daily practice of being a better manager who is committed to equity for all. Listen, if we have managers who are committed to equity for all each and every day, who will hear us out, who will be courageous listeners, who will be culturally competent, that like changes the game, right? Recently, there was a report that said that 53% of Black employees felt safe for the first time, felt like they belonged at their companies for the first time while working from home. So you know what that says to me? That many of us don't feel safe going back into the workplace, and that we felt like we belonged and we had less microaggressions, macroaggressions, racism, bias, sexism, you name the ism. A lot of us were not experiencing those things working from home as heavy as we once were. So if I'm a leader, the one thing I'm going to say is, what do I need to do to make sure that certain employees feel safe coming back? I'm not going to just say, hey, let's get back December 1st, knowing that not everybody experienced the workplace the same. Part of restorative justice is creating better relationships, healing those broken relationships that are in the workplace that are happening, right? We're not all experiencing the workplace the same. How do we do that? Right? We have to create that trust. If you are a company that said last year that diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging were important, and you've done nothing to demonstrate that, then now is a good time to say, you know what, we made some missteps. We have not demonstrated equity in the ways that we had hoped to last year, but we are committed to doing it. And here's what we're doing going forward. That transparency actually helps with our healing journey, so that we know what we're what's ahead, right? So I think it's just so important that we have these conversations out loud. My hope is that they're no longer just courageous conversations, but we normalize them to be normal conversations that you have about anything that's going on in the workplace. So that is my hope. Okay, that is my hope, and I hope that that's your hope as well. But I just wanted to share those few things. If you joined after we started, I mentioned that we're having a book club for Right Within, which I will be part of. This is the official book club. So if you haven't signed up for it, it starts next month. We'll drop the link inside. You want to be there. There's so much to uncover. Even if you haven't finished the book or even haven't gotten a chance to get started, still join the conversation, because I know that when we heal in community, something really special happens. The other thing I want to tell you about, this is your lucky day. I'm doing an event this week in partnership with Salesforce about Black wellness in the workplace, and they are giving complimentary books away of Right Within. So we're going to drop that link in the chat as well. So if you haven't had a chance to get your copy, today's a good day to do that. But let me know, how are you feeling? For those who have read or started reading Right Within, what are some things that are coming up for you? I know that this is not an easy book to read, but it's an important book to read. I've heard from so many of you who have read the book already, and you're rereading it a second time, and some of you didn't even realize that you were still holding on to some of that pain. I had a woman reach out to me the other day. She said that Right Within came just in the right amount of time for her, because she's actually getting ready to leave a very racialized, toxic environment, and she doesn't want to take that baggage to the next job. She doesn't want to experience that prudent paranoia that I talk about in the book, and she doesn't want to be triggered at every turn, right? When we're in these toxic environments, sometimes we take that baggage with us, and we're in this new space and we can't even enjoy ourselves, right? Because of the PTSD. So when someone is speaking to us, it may not even be the same way that we experienced it before, but because we still are holding on to that trauma, it feels similar, right? And I think it's important that we check in with ourselves so that we don't bring some of that baggage that we should have never been exposed to into our next best thing. And so the last thing too, if you haven't had a chance, you bought the book, please go and leave a 5-star rating on Amazon or Goodreads, because those things matter. That allows for someone else to be able to find the book. The algorithms, and I know so many, I've heard just from so many of Black and brown women just really hurting in the workplace, really experiencing some really toxic stuff. And it breaks my heart. And so, but I'm also optimistic, right? The more that we understand how important our healing has to be, then we kind of force the workplace to change. Right? What is the future of work? The future of work for me is where Black and brown women are not harmed in the workplace, that we get to thrive and not just survive, right? So that's the type of workplace I want for us. And that's the type of workplace that I want the next generation to inherit. Let them be beneficiaries of our courage, right? Let's not just be courageous for ourselves, but for the next group that comes in after us, that joins us at these tables. And so I hope that you will print out that healing pledge. I hope you will say it to yourself. I hope you will affirm yourself on those moments where you're just feeling it. The healing pledge is not just words, but that's feeding your soul, feeding your spirit. Your healing matters. Yes, it does. Our healing matters. And the more we heal, the healthier we are mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially. And so, again, I just want to thank all of you for showing up. We did the 2-week virtual book tour. If you didn't get a chance to attend that, there's some replays that you can go back and see. But main thing is, I hope that you'll join us for the book club. I hope you will get your complimentary copy and join us at the Salesforce event later this week on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, not LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live, and they're giving complimentary books away of Right Within. So shout out to that. That's a success partner in my book. So I just want to thank Salesforce for how they're showing up for Black women and women of color in the workplace. And so as we end today's show, again, your healing matters. I want you to know that. Don't let anybody tell you different. Black women resting, Black women thriving, women of color resting, women of color thriving is revolutionary. And I want these workplaces to know that we're no longer going to be silenced. Our voices will no longer be silenced. And so that's that on that. Period with a T. And I just want to leave you with, you all know that I love grits and rap lyrics. And if you've never joined us before, I always ask my guests, if they like grits, how they like their grits. In my dream of dreams, one day I can host a show on like Food Network, and I just go around and do a bunch of grits tasting and talk about rap lyrics. So help me manifest that one day in the future. But I wanted to leave you with a rap lyric that I enjoy, and not to be confused, there's only one way to eat grits, and that's with salt and butter. Sometimes shrimp, but I like it old school. Lots of butter and lots of salt. And so my thing today is Jay-Z. He has a lyric that says, "Mama ain't raised no fool. Put me anywhere on God's green earth, and I'ma triple my worth." I love that lyric so much because I think sometimes we feel like confined. We feel like we're in a box. We feel like we might not be able to thrive in the environment that we in. And I'm going to just remind you who you are, who you were created. You were created for greatness. You can thrive in anywhere you're planted. You just have to create the right boundaries. You may not be, hopefully you won't be in that environment forever, but wherever you land, wherever you are, we can put you in, and we know that you're going to thrive. You're going to triple your worth. And so sometimes it's just the mindset, right? We have to deconstruct this mindset, and that we know that we can make it anywhere, that you belong everywhere you enter, virtual or physical, but maybe every space doesn't deserve to have you, but you still going to triple your worth. Okay. So that is my lyric today. And I typically ask each of my guests, what's one thing they can do to give advice on how we make the workplace better than we found it. And for me, the advice that I would give on how we make the workplace better than we found it is being transparent. When we make mistakes, that we own it, right? And I hope that companies, when you have made a misstep, when you have dismissed the experiences of women of color in the workplace, that you commit to equity for everybody, right? There was a woman who was telling me a story over the weekend, and she was experiencing racial discrimination in the workplace, and she had a white manager, which is pretty typical, right? Many of us have that. But then it escalated. Then it went to their white manager, and then it went to their white manager. And all three white managers up the scale said, no, it couldn't possibly be racism. And, it really baffles me that you could have three white people chime in on what's racist and what's not when they've never been a Black woman in the workplace, or they've never been a person of color in the workplace. So you may not understand, but for you to dismiss it, I think that it's insidious and it's not good, and that doesn't heal the workplace. We have to. That's why the manager's pledge is so important. And I say transparency is because two things can be true at the same time. The intention may not have been racist, right? But the impact was. And so we have to really look at the intent versus the impact? And are we willing as leaders to be transparent and say there are some behaviors here that we need to weed out? Doesn't mean we have to, burn the place down or anything like that. That means that we can be transparent to say, yes, we do have some behaviors that we need to weed out. And we need to make sure that people are properly trained and held accountable. That's being transparent. And that's how we heal the workplace. And so if you are a leader that's been dismissive, think about that for a minute. That may not be your experience, but it may be somebody else's each and every day. And so we cannot discount the experiences of others. We should hear each other out. It's very important for us to do that. And so, again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for showing up for Secure the Seat every week, Monday at noon. Today, I just wanted to share some of those fun things that are coming down the pipeline. So make sure that we see you next Monday at noon. We have a special guest. The rest of the year, I'm really excited for the guests that we have, the conversations that we're going to be having. Got some fun things in store for you. So again, make sure that you join the book club that pops off next month. And then also join us on the 28th with Salesforce. We're going to have a conversation on Instagram Live about Black wellness, and you can get your complimentary right within, courtesy of Salesforce. So we'll drop that link in, share it with others, tell people about it. Our healing matters. Your healing matters. Lauryn Hill said, how you going to win if you ain't right within? And we know that you can't. You can't win. You can't enjoy this life without being right within. And so your healing matters. And we will see you next week at noon. Have a great, great week, and we'll see you soon.